Okay, so really ever since we kind of talked about, I guess like the self-reflection video and kind of talk about how AI is kind of like ruining a lot of stuff when it comes down to it, it has been on my brain to talk about it again. And also ignore any other sound effects that you might hear in this video if you do hear it, because it's currently raining. It's gonna rain all day and I need to get something out. Granted, there's the Genshin video that I'm trying to do, which I haven't done at this point, so I don't know if that's going to be before this one or after this one, but we'll see. But when it comes down to it though, essentially, when you really start looking at how people kind of are when it comes down to this AI stuff, it is like crack cocaine. It is literally everywhere. It is a everywhere epidemic, and no one is basically looking at it and being like, there's more to this than what's going on, because everybody is so addicted to the crack cocaine. And again, there is things that AI can very much do that is, obviously fine and for funsies and stuff like that too. But ultimately, it takes it to another level when corporations and other people get involved, to a point where it just makes you realize how pointless, or really how hopeless, a lot of this situation is regarding how things just operate. And this is something also I guess I want to talk about too, just to add into it. Why am I also kind of like slightly shifting off of just talking about news stuff to a point? And it's kind of because the more you look into these things, the more hopeless you start to feel, and the more depressed you start to get in your own head and all that sort of stuff too. And it just starts affecting things around you, at least apparently for me, because that just been the case so far. But when it comes down to it though, it just is not a good time, right? Like, for example, and it's not even just AI too, just like other news as well that we could talk about, but just taking time to do so would literally take so much, right? Like, for instance, Fakku recently, the Dojin site basically got hit with MasterCard and Visa. Granted, I don't care for, Fakku that hard, but ultimately they got smacked with something of those people. And even if I don't like that site or don't care for that site, I still don't think they should be hit with Visa and MasterCard payment processor bullshit whatsoever, removing certain tags and certain things that they can't just, straight up display anymore. And I think that's nonsense. Do I use Fakku? No, but I still don't think it should be hit with that. Same thing with, Microm and them removing, like RAM for people that wants to get extra RAM or something like that, and they're only selling it to big companies and brands and whatever, and not the average consumer. Like, that's wild. That's crazy. And I'm not even a PC person. Like, I use a laptop. I don't know shit about PC to the high extent, but even I know, especially now, is that RAM is very damn important. And the fact that they're shifting all that shit just to fund it for AI and just try to progress on that level instead of just letting everybody get in on it is just terrible when it comes down to it. And it's like, the more and more you look at this sort of stuff, the more you try to, focus in on what is happening. It is like so much shit is just going down, and it's not really good. Especially if you're someone that's on a, low income sort of level of class, right? Like someone like me, and probably many other people that you probably know, right? People that are in the low income class of things right now is in a shitstorm, dead ass. Like, genuinely, even in just everyday life, right? Like, if you're basically somebody that's unemployed, you can't really find work, honestly, outside of the holiday season, and it barely even if that, because people don't want to hire for shit right now, then at the very same time, you basically maybe try to find something online to try to do, and even then, that's not really a whole guarantee, because you don't know when that time will come when you might get, people to come through to help you out, right? Because people are also going through the exact same things that you're going through. It's not just a isolated issue for you, it's a everybody issue for the most damn part, and it sucks, right? And that's just generally how it is, So, and that's why I'm not really even like, anytime where I do need something or anything like that, I'm not even really like mad that certain things don't happen, because it's like, everybody is also going through, stuff of their own, and that's just how it is, right? I'm just glad that things work out for me when, things happen where I actually do need something, but ultimately, it's not a thing that just happens all the damn time. And to give very much a stat, from me personally, I don't really get anything unless it is a absolute ultimate necessary need. I don't really like buying stuff for myself, or getting stuff for myself, even if it's like for like, you know, a good reason, I just don't like it because there's always something else that's going to be needed towards something when it comes down to it. And that's basically the low income life. That's basically what you've been seeing for, you know, so long when it comes down to it, to the point you can't really afford to have fun for yourself or anything for yourself. You gotta basically worry about what the hell's the next thing coming through, right? Like the PS5 again is like one of those things where I was like, I wasn't even waiting on that year to come get it. I wasn't even trying to wait on that. I was gonna wait till next year to go get it, which was, I think was like, what, 2024 or something like that, 2023, one of those years. And I wasn't even trying to go get it that far, right? I was just trying to be like, all right, I'll just get it that the other time, right? But then I had no choice because literally the PS4 wouldn't update. Then at the same time with the laptop thing, I knew I needed a new laptop, but the laptop I currently had was, you know, getting slow as shit. And so I had basically no choice but to, you know, upgrade to that thing. And that was, again, through the help of you guys when it come down to it. Again, when I desperately need stuff, it always seems like things work out for me. But when it comes down to just everything else, that's a giant hell no, buddy. Like, it just is what it is. And even if I did have the funds to do things myself, I don't know if I still would do anything for me, right? Because it always feels like, damn, we're doing this, but it could really could go to this and just take care of other future stuff, right? And that's kind of where my brain has always been when it comes down to it. And that's probably where a lot of other people's brains are usually is when it comes down to whatever issue that they're working with and dealing with. Like, it's already bad enough that you are low income and you don't really have a lot of things going for you. It's even worse when companies and corporations try to go out their way to basically finesse your ass while you're in that same issue, right? And the thing is, people could dead ass fight against a lot of the AI stuff and a lot of the things that corporations do. People just don't do it for some reason, and it's basically just letting them get their ass whipped across the damn streets with a damn belt like you're some child getting whipped by some abusive ass parents. That's what this shit feels like a lot of the damn time, and it's so tiring. YouTube is one of those things that easily is falling into that category now, thanks to a lot of the AI integration. I don't like it personally. The reason why I don't like it, to keep it very much a stack, is because it's killing people's, you know, views and essentially trying to get people not any sort of time to break out, have a chance for them to break out to be something when it comes down to it. And that's my biggest that's my biggest complaint of all this shit, is really, you know, content creation wise, it has been a struggle. It has been, you know, hitting me in a very negative sort of way in how I feel and just how to do things in general. Because it's like, if you ain't talking about current stuff, or if something don't break through that, you know, you have talked about before, maybe it might work for you. Like, it just doesn't help out. It just doesn't do anything. Your content is basically going effing nowhere, and you don't know where the hell things are going to go from that point forward. That's the one biggest thing I really hate since August, is that everybody's content basically is just, you know, up for grabs in terms of like which one actually is going to work out. And yes, while we do have things like a hype system, and you know, obviously you can use the hype system in the comments to blow up a video or whatever, but ultimately not everybody's going to just want to do that. Granted, it doesn't cost people anything, but not everybody's going to want to sit there and just do that. Not everybody is going to sit there and care to do that, and it sucks each and every time. Like, there is ways out of certain things, it's just some things just don't happen, and that's just how it is. And it wouldn't even be necessary to have something like a hype system if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, of all this AI integration when it comes down to it, which makes people harder to find when it comes down to content, harder to get people to, you know, get the content to be suggested for people and stuff like that. Just a lot of stuff in general. It genuinely is. It's been bumming me out a lot recently when it comes down to trying to make content, trying to get people to come through and just to see what we got. But ultimately, it's never really going to get better if, you know, this AI thing just stays around, which most likely it is. So it's never really going to get better. And the only thing we can do is just either just really spread it around word of mouth, and that's really about it. But then there's no guarantee that that shit will happen or that shit will work out in my favor or anybody else's favor that's like at the levels that I am at right now, or close in that range, or just in general of where we are at with channels and stuff like that too. It just is what it is across the board. Then if you look at the gaming side of things, literally every single video game like dev and studio is basically getting pissed off at people like Steam, for example, for having games listed to use AI in some shape and form, and people are getting pissed off about it and being like, you know, every game uses AI and all that sort of stuff. And ultimately it's like, yeah, every game does, but we don't know how you do that though. Is it generative AI? Is it using imaging? Is it using, you know, voice lines? Is it gameplay? What are we using the AI for, right? What exactly is it going to? I don't think people are gonna get mad if you use AI. I just think you get mad at it if it's like literally affecting like an art, or affecting like the gameplay, or affecting voice lines or whatever. I think that's where people will get pissed off at, and I think that's valid to do so. Keep in mind, Amazon just recently did the whole anime AI stuff with the dubbing and whatever, and these companies, Kalakawa, they didn't know shit about this. So the moment they found out, they told us to take that shit down, because I don't blame them. What the hell are you doing, bitch? You're not, and this is how you deadass know this is like a giant Western issue, because genuinely the only people that are doing this bullshit is 1% rich ass Western companies and Western people. Because even Kalakawa didn't effing know about this stuff. Even they didn't know. And that's the thing I will still always glaze the East on. And the East has its problems, let's keep it very much a stack. But at least they're not gonna sit here and just, you know, use certain shit just to get some extra cash when it comes down to it, right? Like, let's keep it very much a stack. AI voice acting. That could be a thing right now. You could very much use that to be a thing to replace voice actors and stuff like that. But guess what? They don't do that. In the West, they'll be more than happy to do that shit. They've done that on multiple occasions while still having real voice actors and just trying to be like, nah, don't worry about that shit and all that sort of stuff, and going behind their backs and stabbing them and all that sort of stuff. And yet these voice actors want to support these weird ass SAG-AFTRA people and stuff like that at times too, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But ultimately, the East could do the same thing, but they're a bit more respectful. They actually understand humans are also humans at the end of the day. Not everybody's like that, but they do have companies where they do respect that people are people, right? And that people need a job. Easily, one of the biggest things I could think of is having like the whole, you know, Genshin Strike voice acting thing that happened. Easily, however, could said, man, F the English side, we're gonna just put in some AI voice acting and call it a damn day. They could have easily done that, which would have diminished the product a little bit, but still you had some voice acting there that wouldn't betray you. But ultimately, they didn't do that. They wanted to bring the people back. They didn't even cut the English side of things, they just wanted to bring the people back because they know you need that shit. So that's just how it is, and they just did the right thing. Then at the very same time, the only times they implemented it in their own games is when they have permission to do so, right? And that's just how it was, and that's great. That's how it should be done, you know? And yeah, sure, obviously there is some AI stuff that they don't tell nobody about, maybe like promotional material, maybe some birthday, you know, character birthdays or something like that. And I think, you know, that's a little you know, because you're a $1 billion company, you mean something that you don't got nobody in there that can't draw that good, like, that's a little weird. But ultimately it's not it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible when it comes down to it, you know? And then at the very same time, you know, they could very much, again, take someone like, even like Inepa, use her as a legitimate AI who already sounds like an AI voice as it is, but you give her an actual human role for that role when you could have used a computer for that shit. And that just tell you that they care about some level of their craft and their content to not make it worse in that sort of level, where an English or Western dev would absolutely do something like that to just say, you know, we'll cut corners here, it's a robot voice anyway, who cares, and all that sort of stuff, right? That's just genuinely how they are. And again, this is just Hoya vs. Glaze. This is literally just Glaze really to the eastern side when it comes down to how they do stuff, how they focus on things, how they kind of have like certain elements of entertainment, of our hobbies, of just business at times, how they kind of can go about things in a better sort of ish way. Granted, again, like I said before, not everything is perfect. Obviously you have the really shitty black companies that really be just terrible for people to work under. I think One Punch Man's current season is easily one of the biggest things that you could tell that is just a shitstorm of terrible things that are just happening, considering that they are literally working on this show as we speak, like dead ass working on the animations and stuff as we kind of speak, considering that one of the recent episodes had like a, you know, like a frame where they actually showed the development frame where it was literally like last month development, and it was like, wait, what? So yeah, it's just a really shitty time that definitely they have, but at still there is also moments where they do have moments of, you know, of being based, being valid at times too, right? And again, both sides are terrible, both sides are ass, and both sides have good things, but it's like you consistently see more interesting and more better planning from one side over another, and in some, really a lot of the times it feels like one side is screwing over the other where they know something that the other side doesn't, and that's just kind of how it is, right? So do you understand basically what I'm trying to get at? Basically, there is so much stuff that is happening in the space of where we like our things, and that's just in the middle of the crossfire of all this stuff, and it's just so much to keep track of, and a lot of this stuff that ends up happening is just very depressive in nature with news and stuff like that, right? Because hell, I didn't even think about that. I never really got to a point where I even wanted to talk about, you know, how physical games are getting wiped out basically, and how they're not really like getting pushed as hard nearly as much, and most likely in a few years time, if even that, we're probably not going to see physical games be a thing anymore. And then guess what's going to happen to digital games? And at some point near in the future, digital games might get cooked. And my reason for that is a scary ass theory, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I feel like they're gonna probably be like, man, F going ahead and downloading individual games, why not just get a whole subscription for all the games that you want under one umbrella, and then just kind of be done with it, right? I feel like they could probably effing do that at some point in the future. Just say F doing physical games, skip digital individual games, let's just put it all in a subscription service and call it a damn day. Not effing with that at all, and I can see that being the actual thing that happens, because no one steps up to fight back against these people. No one actually tries to do anything, right? And I'm not saying these companies will last forever, that will stand up and will probably be new. Ultimately, they're going to get corrupted at some point in time, but still, I would like to see something be done instead of just letting people dog walk the shit out of regular consumers all the damn time. That is just how it is. I'm not smart enough to figure out how. I'm not smart enough to, you know, give you the exact details of everything that's happening, but ultimately I do see what's going on, and I would like to see people actually fight back instead of, you know, eating the shit that's coming out the ass of these companies. That is essentially where we are at right now, and it's terrible each and every time. And these companies are going to keep staying around for a long period of time because the system is in their favor. They're not really giving too much of a damn about breaking rules or anything, and if they do, they can pay for it. That's just how it is. Where we can't do that. We're not in that, you know, area of things like that. That's just not how it is when it comes down to it. It's just terrible across the board again. Like I said before, we can very much easily have competition, but people just choose not to let that shit happen, right? Like streaming platforms, or at least you know, video sharing platforms. You don't have to have just solely Twitch and Kick there. You have anything you want to just be added into a new spectrum, and people could go there if you promote it right and you get the right traction, right? Same thing with Twitch and Kick themselves. They could literally add video sharing to their platforms. They just be stupid about it and not choose not to do so for some dumbass reason. Don't know if it's because they're in cahoots together, or is it some other weird shit. I don't know, but ultimately it just is a terrible time, and it's not really good overall. It just isn't right when it comes down to it, because that means basically, you know, with no one basically challenging someone like a YouTube or whatever, they can kind of do whatever the hell they want to, right? That's just genuinely how it is. And that's why, you know, obviously they get to screw over people's content like this video. I honestly, within a day's time, I do not even think this video is even going to reach 300 people. I don't even think 300 people is going to even watch this video. That's genuinely how I feel about this. How honestly, unfortunately confident I feel about it, because that's what YouTube usually does. They don't like to push out anything that isn't, you know, I guess like in what their algorithm is wanting to see and do. That's just generally how it is, and that's just very annoying as more we kind of go into it. Because even I'm starting to question, do I just need to do something else? Like, do I need to start uploading shorts sort of content? Do I need to start hard focusing on that? Do I need to just open up a new TikTok and then just try again? Like, I'm confused on what exactly should I do. And honestly, it feels like the more I try to fight against everything, it feels like it's not really doing anything. And I think that's the worst feeling of it all, right? I see what I personally need to do. I understand exactly where I need to go, what exactly is happening, and all this sort of stuff. I see what's right and wrong. I know what I'm doing. I can do it. There's nothing really physically that should stop me to do so. But for some reason, there's a phantom force or some type of force field or fate itself on some heavenly principles type beat that is just straight up stopping me from doing what I need to do. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, nor can I fully explain exactly what it is that's stopping me, but something is stopping the progress from being made on just me or anybody else that's basically trying to shake fate or break out of fate of some kind. It's very weird. It's a very weird and honestly destructive cycle at times. And again, this is part of the reason why I didn't like, doing news content or trying to go for news content a lot of the time. It's solely because a lot of the time when you do it, it's soul crushing at the end of the day because it's just focusing on a lot of negative shit and barely anything good, right? That's just generally how it is. That's why I split the content up to do what I do. News content here, but then you might talk about some anime or game thing here that I'm looking forward to try to, get away from a lot of that stuff as well. And while I'm not saying that the news content or the rant content, I should say, is going away, it just is, I just want to basically throw it out there and be like, this is the shitty part about doing all this stuff. It gets to you. It affects your mental mind and all that sort of stuff and where you are at. And it's never really a good time. So, yeah, it just, overall, it's just a shitty time. Granted, if we were all in a situation where we had, the funds and the money that we need, we probably wouldn't be really worried about half the shit that's going on. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people too, is that some people are just straight up not in a good position. Other people are, and then other people can't see what the other people are, complaining about a lot of the time, nor would they care. And that just is a giant problem. No one really cares about what other people are actually going through because they're fine themselves, which I get it. I understand. But damn, is that shitty though. It genuinely is. But yeah, that's, I guess, basically everything I wanted to say. Kind of, really, this is more like the most rant I ever felt in any of the rants I've ever done. Just because of how frustrating everything really has been. Because it's just like, damn, what do I need to do to basically, make something shake for myself, as well as to kind of hopefully rally somebody up to do something against the bullshit that's going down. Because it's just too much. But yeah, I don't know. Humans have a terrible problem doing stuff too late or having people to come through together when it's too late. But, as we kind of seen with censorship recently. So, I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. But yeah, that's really what I want to say for this one. So hopefully you did understand. And if you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on our way out. Also on the socials. And if you'd like to on this channel, Kofi and Kasha is available as well. And that's it. It's been Boy J. Signing off. Have a blessed day.